Some of you have asked the question of, is the Zoom H1n good for podcasts? Well, let's find out. For the impatient ones, yes, it does definitely sound good enough, but you're gonna need more than one. Basically, as many as guests you have in your podcast. Why? It's because to sound well, and that happens to the Zoom H1n or any other microphone, it needs to be close to the source, so you either have several of them, or you start passing around the microphone every time somebody needs to speak, and I don't think that would be a podcast anymore. But let's test this. As usually, I'm alone and a bit in a hurry, so we're gonna test this using the Camera Conspiracies boardroom meeting inspired podcast setup. So first of all, let's reframe this bit. Is that good enough? Alright, the microphone is here. Well, hello. 1, 2, 3, hello, hello. Are we good? Yes? Alright. Let's switch this to black and white. Maybe let's put a little bit of black bars, and I think we are ready to go. And now, this is officially a podcast. And here we have our guest. Sure, let's go with that. Alright, so please welcome to this fake podcast, and we have here our guest. Hi, hello, I'm the guest. So, let's start from the really basics. What is a podcast? I thought that I came here because I'm the expert on the Zoom H1n, or claim to be. Well, sure, but we need to start from the beginning. Like, can you tell what a podcast is, please? Fine. It's when you have a couple, or maybe a little bit more people, having a discussion that is recorded in some microphone, like this one, recording, on the hopes that somebody is going to listen to it. And then why do you think that some people might want to use the Zoom H1n for that purpose? Hopefully you didn't clip the microphone and you just tried the proximity effect. But the Zoom H1n is fairly affordable, it's quite cheap, it's great value for money, and it's very popular. So no wonder people are wondering. Whether they can use it for podcasting. And even though this is being recorded and we're being filmed on camera as well, many people just listen to podcasts. So the most important question is obviously, does this sound well enough? You tell me, you're the one wearing the headphones. Yeah, I'm wearing the headphones, but I did ask you to look different from me because we're the same person, but we're trying to be different characters. Yeah, I was trying to put a hat on, but you told me not to, because then every time I take the hat off, then your hair is going to be messed up. So I decided to just play with headphones. So we can switch a bit quicker. And if that's not good enough for you, give clear instructions. If you would have agreed that we would have a common script, I record my part first, then you go, change the t-shirt, put a hat on, and record yours. This would look a lot better than right now. But if you're in a hurry, and I'm in a hurry, we're both in a hurry, this was the fastest way to do it. So stop complaining. Hopefully people can listen to this. You had the headphones, you tell me how it sounds, and if not, please ask your audience. And since you're listening and testing the audio, let me throw you a curveball here. We're recording the Zoom H1n, but now let's also record into this Rode NT1 plugged into a Zoom F3. Now you're listening to me speaking into the Zoom H1n, and now you're listening to me speaking into the Rode NT1. The sound difference should be massive, but the question for you is this good enough? Now, mind you, this costs just $100. This microphone alone goes a little bit above 200. The recorder is above 300. So for this microphone and that recorder, you can get 5 of these. And at the moment, we can only do this very silly thing with either device anyway. So you could run a podcast with 4 guests for less money than this microphone and that recorder. If the sound is good enough, then you should be fine. And I guess that what we're looking for is good enough. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about budget options, this is what you can look forward to. Have a good enough sound for little enough money. And if this NT1 with the F3 was maybe a little bit of an overkill, is there anything in the between? Maybe a Zoom H5 with a couple of cheaper dynamic microphones plugged into it? How do other people do it? What would you recommend instead of the H1n? Or should we just send people to buy the H1n immediately? If they buy them through the affiliate links, please buy the H1n. But it's normal to want a little bit upgraded. If you mention again the Zoom H5, it has 2 XLR inputs, so you can get the 2 microphones and have the analog, this looked weird, but the analog controls, and that would be quite nice. One thing though is that now that I've been watching not listening, watching some podcasts on YouTube, specifically The Old Man and the Three, with JJ Redick and Tommy Alter. Usually it's 3 of them, 2 interviewers and a guest. And I noticed that each one of them have their own microphone, of course, but each one of them have their own recorder. And it looks to me like they are something like a Zoom H4 or the sorts, so they could have several microphones plugged into it. I don't know why they are not using something like a Zoom H6, maybe, that has 4 XLRs on the sides that can provide phantom power and be good, and there will be somebody controlling. Still, it seems that they prefer to use 3 separate recorders. So if they're using 3 separate recorders, why not get 3 Zoom H1s for you that are on a budget? Good point, and that's a really good podcast, actually. And maybe to close this out, do you have any words to our audience? Get more interesting guests, please. All right, the point of today's episode was to figure out whether the Zoom H1n would be good enough for a podcast situation. The silly thing that you just saw, it was silly enough. Hopefully it was decent enough to watch. Also, the operating word here being enough throughout today's episode. But that's really what this is about. This is a really budget-friendly recorder that has good functionality. It has monitoring options. So as we already said very many times, but anyway, if you have one of these for each person in your podcast, everybody can monitor their own audio. They can be powered via USB, plugged in the wall, so you're not going to run out of power. With a 32 gigabyte card, you can record way more than you have interesting things to say. Anyway, and with this you can monitor, and for not too much money, you have a very decent, portable, easy solution for your podcast. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and we're going to see you soon for some more content.